Today, we're not looking back at a place built to protect animals, but a place built to collect them. Because the idea of a zoo didn't begin with care. It began with a question: what if nothing in the natural world was out of reach? Welcome to Knowledge is Random, and this is the first zoo. Before conservation, before education, before families walked through gates to observe wildlife, there was a different idea. If something was rare, it was taken. If something was distant, it was brought closer. And if something was powerful, it was made to stand behind a boundary. There were cages, and the creatures inside them were not there for survival. They were there to be seen. For most of human history, animals existed beyond us, in forests, in deserts, across oceans we could not cross. They were distant, unreachable, unknown. To see something truly exotic was almost impossible, but rulers did not accept distance. As early as 2500 BCE, Egyptian pharaohs kept collections of animals, lions, monkeys, exotic birds, captured from distant lands, and brought back as symbols of control. Power was not just about land, it was about mastery over the natural world. These collections became known as menageries, private displays of wealth and reach. Across empires, rulers followed. In ancient China, emperors created vast parks filled with rare animals. In Europe, kings assembled collections of lions, bears, and creatures few had ever seen. At the Tower of London, exotic animals were kept for centuries. A gift of diplomacy, a display of dominance, a message. We can bring the world here. These were not places of learning, they were spectacles. Animals confined to small spaces, displayed for curiosity or amusement. Creatures from distant continents reduced to symbols. To own the rarest animal was to prove your power reached further than anyone else. But something began to change. Curiosity replaced dominance. People no longer just wanted to see animals, they wanted to understand them. In 1752, a new idea emerged at the Tiergarten Schönbrunn. What began as an imperial menagerie became something different, structured, organized, opened eventually to the public. Often considered the world's oldest surviving zoo, not just a display of power, but the beginning of something else. By the 19th century, zoos began to evolve. Institutions like the London Zoo were founded with a different purpose: scientific study, public education. Animals were still confined, but now they were also observed, documented, studied. But the question remains: were these places progress or simply a new form of control? Because even as understanding grew, the cages remained. Today, zoos present themselves differently, focused on conservation, breeding programs, protecting endangered species, places where extinction might be prevented. But the tension still exists between care and captivity, between education and control. Because what we call the first zoo depends on definition. Was it the first collection of animals, the first structured menagerie, the first public institution, or the first place built to protect rather than display? Even what we call the first can change as values shift, as understanding evolves, as history is reinterpreted. Science does not defend certainty, it refines it. So if this made you think, follow it, explore it, question it. And if you believe something here is incomplete, debated, or even wrong, say so. Because this story is still being written. Somewhere between curiosity and control, the true purpose of the zoo is still evolving. This was the first zoo, and this is the first, where knowledge is random but curiosity is not.